Welcome to Field Experience Student Orientation. My name is Dr. Luis Lacorte, and I look forward to spending time with you reviewing some of the particulars about field experience. So there are a few important things to be aware of with regards to field experience. Field experience is 3 courses: practicum, internship 1, and internship 2. Now you may have participated in a pre-prac, and that's a pre-practicum. That's not field experience. That doesn't count towards your practicum hours. Field experience begins once all your core courses are complete. So that's very important to complete all your core courses first. And then you must apply for field experience about 3 months before you intend to begin. So if you anticipate that you're going to be starting your practicum and you'd like to start in the summer, then you really need to submit your application by the spring in order to be accepted. Your field experience application must be approved, and you must be actively enrolled in a field experience course in order to participate in field experience. And you must apply every quarter for field experience. In other words, when you're in practicum, you've got to apply for internship 1. And when you're in internship 1, you've got to apply for internship 2. Field experience includes 3 quarters of an actual course with coursework, so we encourage you to anticipate. You're going to have discussions, you're going to have written assignments in addition to the time you're going to spend at your site engaging in counseling work. You'll have live supervision each week with your instructor, who will be your faculty supervisor through video conference. Typically, this will be 2 hours per week at a pre-designated time. As I said, you'll be engaging in counseling work with real clients at a site, and then there's also live supervision each week with your site supervisor, you will meet with 1 hour per week. Field experience is very different from many of your other courses. You've demonstrated that you know the material, which is why you've made it this far. Tremendous. But now you've got to apply that information. You've got to demonstrate good counseling skills and anticipate that you're going to be evaluated on those counseling skills. We also want you to demonstrate good professional dispositions as a guest at your site. You'll be engaging in supervision with a faculty supervisor and site supervisors who will be kind of challenging you and encouraging you to grow. And you'll also be accruing and documenting hours at your site. Field experience involves many parts, pieces, people, processes, and policies, and we're all working behind the scenes to kind of support students and make sure that they enter and are supported throughout their field experience. The more familiar you are with all of the requirements as a student, the more successful you're likely to be. So here's a snapshot of our team. We're led by a director of field experience, and then we have an operations team and an academic team. The operations team focuses on helping you facilitate your application process and keep good track of your hours. All the mechanics and behind the scenes of making sure that we're documenting your time there at your site. The academic team is composed of a coordinator as well as your faculty supervisor, in order to make sure that the things in your course, your Blackboard course, flow smoothly and that all your questions are answered that way as well. So keep that in mind, that we have an operations team and an academic team. They're both here to help you and support you. Our Director of Field Experience supervises the Field Experience Operations Director and the Field Experience Academic Coordinators and Field Experience faculty. The Director also oversees all policy and procedural changes, provides oversight of the remediation process, oversees the appeals process, and collaborates with program, school, college, and university leadership for all counseling programs. Our academic team works with students who need assistance while they're securing a site. We also work with students who need dispositional support. We review and approve field experience applications, provide orientation and training to faculty supervisors, provide support to faculty, students, and site supervisors, assist with the auditing of requirements, and we are the first in line of contact for any field experience issues or concerns. Our operations team assists students with the application process for field experience, conduct field experience eligibility audits, register students for the field experience courses, manages documentation of field experience, maintains files for field experience students, audits the completion of all requirements, and provides support to the field experience director, coordinator, and field experience faculty. A good way to look at the operations team is they oversee the Metatrack portion and your application process. So if you have questions, how do you contact us? Well, the most important vehicle is for you to visit our website, which you have the QR code for. You'll see there that we offer field experience support drop-in calls. Anytime during that time window, you're welcome to stop in, speak to a live person, and get your questions answered. We also offer a live chat Monday through Friday where you'll have live responses from an individual informing you and answering your questions. We also have email, we have telephone, as well as coordinated Zoom appointment meetings. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. To help you anticipate and prepare for field experience, we have an orientation as well as emails that we send out to you during first quarter, quarters 3 through 4, as well as quarters 6 through 7. Let's take a look at those. During first quarter, we'll have a new student orientation. It'll be a brief introduction, and you'll also receive an email from the Office of Field Experience with a checklist and some contact information. During quarters 3 through 4, generally that's the window when you'll be doing pre-prac 1, and we have an orientation at that time called Paving the Way, and you'll also receive an email from our offices again with a student checklist and some site search resources. This is probably a good time to begin looking around for a site and anticipating what your field experience, when you'll be doing your field experience, and what you would like that to look like. During quarters 6 through 7, you'll do pre-prac 2, and then there'll be another field experience orientation, as well as some emails with information about the student checklist, site search resources, how to ask for help, and by quarters 6 through 7, we hope you'll have kind of a firmer vision and a firmer plan of what your field experience should look like. In order to start your field experience, you've got to complete an application process, which involves many layers and many elements. The application is extensive, but it's important to ensure that your proposed site supervisor and your experience meet the program requirements. It's important to gather necessary documentation for Walden and our accreditors, and it's also important to ensure that you've met the prerequisite requirements and that you are eligible for field experience. Again, please remember, if you're anticipating doing practicum, please make sure that your application is completed 3 months prior to that. And so that you must have your site before that in order to submit your application. So please plan ahead. Here's an overview of the application process. Starting on the left, you'll see the student application submission. And that means you're going to submit the application, but before you do that, you've got to secure a field site. You're going to work with your site supervisor at your site to gather the required documentation, and then you'll submit all the required documents through Metatrack. Next is the operations review. Once the operations department has your application, they're going to establish an affiliation agreement with your site. They're going to review the required documentation. They'll make sure that you're eligible, and they'll audit your eligibility, make sure you're eligible to begin field experience, review onboarding requirements. There'll be a group supervision, scheduling, and registration. And next, it moves to academic review. The academic department will review the quality of your field experience and the site supervisor credentials and qualifications to ensure that it meets program and accreditation requirements. So as you can see, it's a little bit of an extensive process for us as well to review and process and approve your application. Now, at the operations or during the academic review, the application may be kicked back to you in order to complete and improve and just sort of tweak and make adjustments to make sure we have the appropriate documentation. The intent of that is to make sure that all your documentation is in place so that your field experience can be a success. Here are some important takeaways about the field experience application process. It's really important. You must have a field site and a site supervisor to submit an application. We take time to ensure that your site supervisor has the appropriate qualifications, and that's a major part of the application process. So it's necessary for you to provide information about your specific individual that will be providing you supervision. We will need what kind of license they have, their license expiration date, their license number, and information about their employment and their experiences. The application process and deadlines are outlined on our website, so please take time to visit our website and become familiar with it. And most importantly, plan ahead. It will take some time to gather all the information and documentation required for the application process. Please know, incomplete applications will be rejected. Submitting an incomplete application can delay your review process and the start of your field experience. So please get all the items, all the things together, and submit a strong application from the start. And if you need help, please reach out to us and we'll help you through it. Once your application is approved and you're enrolled in your field experience course, then the fun begins, right? To complete each field experience course satisfactorily, students must achieve all of the following. 1. Successful completion of all coursework assignments in addition to a cumulative score of 80% or above. Active participation in weekly faculty supervision. Again, this will be 2 hours a week. Completion of a site visit. Your faculty supervisor will visit your site virtually, and then completion of all hourly requirements. So please keep in mind, this is an actual course. You'll still have discussions, you'll still have assignments, and you'll also be engaged at your site getting experiences. But wait, there's more. In order to pass field experience, you've also got to get satisfactory evaluations from your site supervisor and your faculty supervisor with their endorsement to move forward. There should be no concerns or reservations regarding a student's ability to continue with professional practice curriculum expressed by the faculty supervisor. There should be no concerns expressed also by the field experience coordinator or director. And it's important to have adherence to all School of Counseling Office of Field Experience policies outlined in the Field Experience Manual, as well as site and university policies, the ACA Code of Ethics, and all state laws and regulations for counseling professionals. So I've mentioned a few times that your Blackboard course will actually have coursework. So let's take a closer look at that. In addition to the work at your site, your field experience also involves a course in Blackboard with the following items. You'll have some administrative tasks, some discussions, and an individual field experience plan where you outline your goals, a TheraView skills practice where you can practice your skills on video, skills demonstration videos to submit, case conceptualizations, concentration-specific assignments, journals, as well as a weekly faculty group supervision meeting. Your skills demonstration assignment is a live video recording of an actual individual counseling session. Those are required. Audio recordings are acceptable only if your site will not allow video and verifies that with your faculty supervisor. You will submit your recordings with the timestamp identification of your skills and your own self-evaluation of your own skills. Faculty reserves the right to request additional recordings as they deem necessary if they feel more information or data they need more information to evaluate your skills. Skills demonstrations do not qualify for a late submission. If a student is having challenges completing a recording, it is the student's responsibility to contact faculty before the due date to be considered for an extension. Some counseling sites and schools have a policy in place where they don't permit their clients to be audio or video recorded for counseling or for training purposes. For students who are not allowed to record, they must provide a written site policy to the faculty supervisor, or the site supervisor must confirm this with the instructor directly. Faculty supervisors will only provide an alternative recording assignment to those students who provide documentation. Skills demonstration through submitted recorded sessions is an essential aspect of your counselor training. It provides an opportunity to observe yourself in session and for your faculty supervisors to provide specific feedback relevant to your individualized needs as a developing counselor. Please know that the alternative assignment is still a recorded skills demonstration. Each quarter of your field experience, you'll participate in weekly supervision with your faculty supervisor and classmates. Now, students must actively participate in group supervision each week. If you anticipate that a term is 10 weeks long and you'll be meeting every week for 2 hours, that's generally about 20 hours you might be able to collect each term. But the minimum is 15 hours per quarter to allow you the ability to be absent here or there, or the faculty. But to reiterate, that doesn't mean that you can just stop coming or not show up for all of the supervision calls. Video and audio participation are required unless there are disability accommodations. Students are required to adjust their schedules to accommodate the group supervision video conference call. We will survey you as a student to ask you when your most available time, most convenient time is, and we'll try to accommodate that. However, it's expected that if needed, you may need to adjust your schedule. And again, attendance at all faculty group supervision conferences is required. Each quarter of your field experience, you'll arrange for a site visit between your faculty supervisor and your site supervisor. Site visits must be completed during weeks 4, 5, 6, or 7 of the quarter, and students are required to facilitate the scheduling of that site visit by day 7 of week 2. Faculty and site supervisor will discuss the mid-quarter evaluation, assess the student's progress, and identify areas of needed support. You'll check your week 7 assignment to get feedback from your faculty regarding the site visit. As I mentioned, there are 3 field experience courses. Practicum is the first one. Practicum is 1 academic quarter, 10 weeks long, and you'll need to earn a total of 10 hours during those 10 weeks. 40 of those 100 hours will need to be direct counseling hours where you're providing a direct service to clients. Remaining hours can be direct or indirect, and they must include at least 1 hour a week of individual or triadic site supervision with the Walden-approved site supervisor. That's at least 10 hours per quarter if you're meeting 1 hour a week. Participation in all faculty group supervision video conferences, and again, if you're meeting 2 hours a week for 10 weeks, that's 20 hours, but we need to at least document at least 15 hours per quarter. Now for internship 1 and 2, anticipate that both internships will be completed over 2 separate academic quarters. That's 2 10-week quarters for a total of 20 weeks. You'll need to earn a total of 600 hours. So if you do the math, 600 hours over 20 weeks is about 30 hours a week. 240 of those 600 hours need to be direct counseling hours where you are offering direct services to clients. 10 of those 240 will need to be leading or co-leading group counseling. The remaining hours can be direct or indirect, and they must include, as with the practicum, at least 1 hour per week of individual or triadic site supervision with your Walden-approved site supervisor, and participation in all faculty group supervision video conferences. Again, please remember that students are required to participate at their sites continuously from weeks 1 through 10, and if you finish early, we don't permit students to drop out early. They must remain throughout the entire term. So what's the difference between direct versus indirect hours? Direct client hours are those in which you are in the presence of and actively engaged with a client delivering some sort of a service. Indirect hours are comprised of weekly supervision, observations or shadowing, clinical documentation and administrative tasks, training and professional development activities, projects created by the site supervisor and the student, phone calls, recording and transcribing of your hours, and please make note that sitting with your site supervisor while they are providing services and when you are shadowing or observing, that doesn't count as a direct service. That counts as an indirect hour. So please keep that in mind. So to help you document your hours, we subscribe to an online service called MetaTrack. You'll get a login to that MetaTrack system, as well as your site supervisor and your faculty supervisor will also log into MetaTrack. You will have the responsibility to document each of your hours every day when you're engaged in field experience, and then they'll be able to see when they log in your hours to approve those. You can use a minimum hourly requirements tracker at the bottom of the page to monitor your progress throughout field experience. And as I said, your site and faculty supervisors will be able to see your hours online, and they'll be able to approve of your hours. Please remember, only entries that are being approved by both supervisors will count. Documentation of your hours is really important, but it can also be a little confusing as well. So we've provided instructions, tutorials, as well as a list of frequently asked questions on our website. Please see the link and the QR code. Feel free to use that in order to access it. If you have questions about Metatrek, there's a specific email address there, socassessment@mail.waldenu.edu, that you can utilize to address any questions that you might have with regards to Metatrek. Please remember, we're here to answer your questions, we're here to support you, and we're here to facilitate the process for you if we can. Your site supervisor and your faculty supervisor will both evaluate you each quarter to ensure that you're on track and that you're ready to move forward. During the term, you'll be evaluated twice, during the midterm and then the final evaluation. They'll be completed by your site supervisor and Metatrek, and then your faculty supervisor will also review. You'll be addressed or evaluated on your counseling skills, on your professionalism, and your counselor identity. And all that addresses how you participate, how you perform, and how you engage with others at your site. Students must receive favorable evaluations to be endorsed by both supervisors in order to move forward. As you can see, there are many important grade considerations. So it's important for students to know that during field, many elements come together and are considered when determining if a student is ready to progress. It's important to shift away from the sole focus on grades to one that encompasses the ability to receive feedback and seek supervision, qualitative evaluation from multiple parties, including a site supervisor and a faculty supervisor, administrative task completion, record keeping and documentation, professionalism, both in the classroom and at the site, and full awareness of the policies in the Field Experience Manual, ethical decision making, and counseling skills demonstration. All of these must come together for the students to be successful. In field experience, final grades are either satisfactory or unsatisfactory, and successful completion of your field experience course requires a passing of both coursework as well as fieldwork requirements. The Director of Field Experience and Field Experience Academic Coordinator review the faculty and supervisor evaluations as well as the qualitative and quantitative data in the classroom. If there are any concerns, the Field Experience Academic Coordinator or the Director of Field Experience will follow up with the student, the faculty, and supervisor as needed. We realize there's a lot to keep in mind, so here are a few quick tips for success. Please save and review a copy of your Field Experience Manual located at the Field Experience website. Students are responsible for the information there and to follow all the Field Experience policies outlined in the manual. Students must conduct themselves in an ethical, professional manner at all times. Any action, physical, mental, or emotional, taken by a student that directly violates current KCREP standards, the Walden Code of Conduct, or the current ACA Code of Ethics will be addressed. Please remember to use your Walden School of Counseling Office of Field Experience support system, faculty supervisor, or operations or the academic team when experiencing conflict at the field site in the course. Please remember, you're a guest at their site. They're providing a service to you. So it's important to conduct ourselves in a manner that's worthy of their respect and our respect as well. If an ethical dilemma should arise at the field experience site, students should contact their practicum or internship faculty supervisor to consult on how to properly address the situation. Students must submit a withdrawal request to the field experience office prior to leaving their site if the termination of the experience occurs prior to the end of the term. Students inform their faculty supervisor of their intent to withdraw from a field experience site. If the student is to withdraw, they must provide ethical termination or transfer of clients to ensure continuity of care. Please remember, students can only provide direct client services while the site supervisor is on site or the designee is on site. Again, please remember, you are a guest at their site, so please conduct yourselves professionally. As an internship student, you have a professional responsibility when you're at the field site, so please follow the agency or the site policies and their procedures. Students will understand the roles and responsibilities of an intern. Students will complete all assigned required tasks on time. Students will wear professional attire. Please abide by their site's dress code policies. Students will conduct themselves in an ethical manner at all times. Any action, physical, mental, or emotional, taken by a student that directly violates the current KCREP standards, the Walden Code of Conduct, or the current ACA Code of Ethics will be addressed. Students will demonstrate a collaborative attitude when working with others within the agency. Students will interact and communicate in a positive and respectful manner with their site supervisor, peers, and other professionals in the community. Students will show up prepared with all necessary tools for scheduled weekly supervision. Students will be on site on time and ready to start the day. If they are late or cannot attend, students will contact their site supervisor or follow the established protocol. Students are not allowed to take vacations during field experience. Again, we are their guests. They are providing a service to you. Please demonstrate that sort of a perspective. As Walden faculty and administration, our genuine posture is that we really want to support you and we want to promote your growth and development. However, there are times when we've got to address a concern about our Walden students. You guys aren't perfect, and neither are we, so we have a process to support you and promote your growth and development. Faculty supervisors will document any field or course-related issues on the Student Dispositional and Skills Concern referral and submit to the Field Experience Academic Coordinator. Student site concerns include but are not limited to the following: student development concerns, challenges with the site supervisor, express concerns from the site supervisor, ethical concerns, lack of or poor professional behavior. Students may be contacted by a Field Experience Academic Coordinator to discuss and address a concern. The Academic Coordinator may involve the Walden-approved site and faculty supervisors to gather additional information, and students may have an opportunity to remediate the concern by completing a 7-day success plan. Again, we're not expecting our students to be perfect, and so we create a process to support you and promote your growth and your development. Designed by faculty and the site supervisor with the Field Experience Academic Coordinator support, an academic coordinator, site supervisor, and faculty supervisor will assess the student's appropriateness for a 7-day plan based on the identified concerns. The plan allows 7 days to consistently demonstrate success to address that concern, accepting client safety issues and egregious violations of the ACA Code of Ethics. The plan includes skills, behavioral goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic, but must be successfully completed by the student within a 7-day period. The student will be informed of the plan, will agree or disagree with the plan via email. Disagreement may result in negative consequences. Faculty supervisor will assess and document progress at the end of the 7-day support plan by reaching out to the student and to the site supervisor. The student will be informed of the outcome of the plan via email by the faculty supervisor. If a 7-day success plan is deemed inappropriate based on the assessment protocol, or if the student is unsuccessful at demonstrating the required skills and behaviors consistently during the 7-day period, the Field Experience Academic Coordinator or Field Experience Director will work to identify an alternative plan to address the concerns. Items that are inappropriate for a plan include those not based in behavioral observation or those egregious enough to warrant immediate action by the Field Experience Director or the Student Development Coordinator. When working out on a site with clients, sometimes we may have client incidents. If a student has safety concerns or questions, that individual should contact the Walden-approved site supervisor, implement the established safety protocol, and contact their practicum internship faculty immediately. Please communicate with your practicum internship faculty via private group, via email, and via telephone. We recognize that field experience can be stressful, and it's also time-consuming. So please remember that the best counselors seek out their own personal counseling. Field experience is a mentally, emotionally challenging period. It is taxing on your resources, and you must maintain self-care in order for you to be effective. Continue any self-care activities you have in place already, and please consider supplementing with additional activities and resources during this time. The Student Assistance Program is available and also offers free confidential counseling to you 24/7. You may call the information about the 24-hour hotline is on the screen, so please refer to that and take advantage of that as needed. And please also take advantage of your faculty supervisor. They will support you, coach you, and encourage you along the way. We recognize that there are lots of details and moving parts when it comes to field experience, so please utilize your faculty supervisor as your first point of contact for field experience related issues or questions once you're enrolled in field experience. Please also bookmark our website and become familiar with all the materials on the website with regards to your program. If after a thorough review and a working knowledge of the information you still have questions, please reach out to us. There are a number of ways to contact our department. In addition, for Meditrack issues and questions related to passwords, form completion, or time logs, please email socassessment@mail.waldenu.edu. Please know that not being aware of a policy doesn't absolve you from the responsibility to adhere to such policy. So we encourage all students, please become aware of the policies in advance. That will set you up for success in field experience and get you prepared and ready. We've included a link to the field experience manual that addresses nearly every single question we receive. And then there's also a link to the American Counseling Association's Code of Ethics. We really hope that this orientation has been helpful to you, and we wish you success along the way. Once again, please reach out to us if you have questions, and we wish you success in your journey. Thank you.